Good evening. You are tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. The Cabinet has agreed to review the Sedition Act 1948 so that the law would only be used against those who insult the royalty. According to Law and Institutional Reform Minister Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said, this will ensure that the royal institution will be protected from any form of provocation.
Earlier today, Azalina briefed the Cabinet on the outcome of the discussions held with various stakeholders on July 21st about dealing with 3R issues involving race, religion and royalty. They will also be examined, including the drafting of new legislation if necessary. Her statement also comes days after Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim called out the opposition that criticising the Malay rulers is off limits. This follows the incident with Kedah Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor, who is now claiming trial to 2 charges of making seditious statements against royalty.
The government is ready to assist in negotiations for local media companies to get fair compensation from tech giants. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadzil said, if necessary, a legal framework could be introduced to smooth the process.
Fahmi said Malaysia's media companies had to bear high costs in advertising and content creation, just to end up being exploited by big tech companies. He said it is estimated that the advertisement expenditure, or ADEX, for 2022 was 7.08 billion ringgit, and 5.15 billion ringgit of the total went to digital platforms. The ADEX is expected to be as high as 8.1 billion ringgit in 2027, but more than 7 billion ringgit will go to big tech companies such as Google, Facebook and TikTok. He said the government is following closely the developments in Australia and Canada, which have introduced laws to protect media content. On Monday, the Global Principles for Fair Compensation was launched in South Africa. Endorsed by news leaders of over 25 countries, the principles aim to serve as a framework that obliges digital platforms and news publishers to engage with each other to develop fair economic terms.
Starlink is now available in Malaysia, and users can place orders for their Starlink satellite broadband kit at 220 ringgit per month. This is after the satellite internet constellation operated by Elon Musk's SpaceX obtained license to offer its services in the country.
The satellite broadband service provides high-speed broadband with download speeds of around 100 Mbps. The plan costs 220 ringgit per month without a contract, but users will have to purchase the hardware separately. The standard equipment costs 2,300 ringgit, while the high-performance option costs 11,613 ringgit. Users are given a 30-day trial and can seek a full refund by returning the hardware. According to Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Malaysia has ordered 40 Starlink satellite broadband kits to be distributed in schools and universities. Starlink has been in talks with Malaysia the past few years, and the company was finally given a special exemption to operate after a teleconference meeting between Anwar and Musk.
The Dewan Rakyat has notified the Election Commission on the vacancy of the Pulai parliamentary seat in Johor. This follows the passing of the incumbent, Datuk Sri Salahuddin Ayub.
Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul Ghani said, according to the law, the EC is required to fill the vacancy within 60 days from the date it is confirmed that there is a vacant position. He was referring to Article 54, Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution. Johari confirmed he had issued a notification dated July 25, 2023 to inform the EC chairman that Allahyarham Salahuddin had died on Sunday, July 23, 2023. Salahuddin, aged 61, passed away at Sultanah Bahiyah Hospital in Alostar, Kedah at 9:23 p.m. on Sunday after undergoing surgery for a brain hemorrhage.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has arrived for his inaugural state visit to Malaysia from today until July 27th. The president is accompanied by First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos and his delegation comprising cabinet secretaries, elected representatives and senior government officials.
During his visit, Marcos would be accorded a state welcoming ceremony at Istana Negara on Wednesday. He would have an audience with the Yang Dipertuan Agong, followed by a state banquet in honor of the president and his delegation. Marcos is also scheduled to meet Prime Minister Dostoyevsky Ibrahim, where both leaders are expected to exchange views on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. The Philippines was Malaysia's 15th largest trading partner globally in 2022 and the 5th largest among the ASEAN member states. Its total trade was 41.45 billion ringgit, a 20.1% increase compared to 2021.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Apa jua yang berlaku di sekeliling kita, pastinya ada punca dan kesan masing-masing. Faktor harga ekonomi, pengaruh politik dalam atau luar negara memberikan impak kepada kehidupan harian kita. Di Niaga Awani kami memberikan gambaran jelas melalui analisis mendalam, merentas pelbagai segmen dan latar belakang. Kami akan bantu anda untuk faham segalanya. Bisnes, ekonomi, pasaran, Niaga Awani, 9 pagi Isnin hingga Jumaat, hanya di Astro Awani.
Jika smash anda seperti pro, Astro Rewards memberikan anda peluang untuk bersinar di Astro Badminton Cup. Pelanggan Astro boleh memenangi sebahagian daripada RM30,000. Daftar Astro Rewards sekarang di My Astro. Adakah anda masih menggunakan Astro Box yang lama? Pelanggan Astro kini ditawarkan untuk penukaran ke box Astro Baharu secara percuma. Dengan Astro Baharu, stream bila-bila masa walaupun ketika hujan. Hubungi kami untuk maklumat lanjut hari ini.
Welcome back. Thailand's parliament has postponed a vote to select the country's next prime minister, prolonging the kingdom's political deadlock more than 2 months after an election won by opposition parties. The vote was scheduled for this Thursday after 2 previous attempts by Move Forward party leader Pita Limjaroenrat were blocked. The vote at a joint sitting of Parliament's 2 chambers was cancelled after the Independent Ombudsman Office challenged the legality of last week's decision to block Pita's renomination as Prime Minister candidate. It said parliamentary regulation could not trump constitutional rules on nominating a Prime Minister. Meanwhile, the Pantau party, which emerged as the second most popular party in the May elections, was expected to nominate its candidate for premier this week. South Korea's top court has ruled against impeaching the country's interior minister over the government's mishandling of a deadly stampede in Seoul last year. Lawmakers voted to impeach Lee Sang-min in February, demanding that he take responsibility for his handling of the Itaewon stampede that killed 159 people.
The court ruled that the incident was not caused or aggravated by any single factor or person. While the court found that Lee had made inappropriate remarks about the crush, this did not constitute grounds for impeachment and ruled he had not neglected his duties. President Yoon Suk-yeol had rejected the opposition demand that he sack Lee. He accused the party of abusing its majority in parliament to push the impeachment. In June, the opposition-led National Assembly voted to fast-track a bill to launch an independent investigation into the Itaewon tragedy.
A super typhoon swept towards the northern Philippines today, triggering evacuation orders for coastal communities. Typhoon Dostoyevsky is expected to cause flash floods and landslides with tidal surges of up to 3 meters.
The super typhoon was packing maximum sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour as it headed towards the northern tip of the main Luzon Island. It is expected to make landfall in northeastern Kerajaan province by Wednesday afternoon, before making its way to Taiwan and southeastern China. In China, fishing boats have been urged to seek shelter and farmers to speed up their harvest, while Taiwan has suspended annual military drills in anticipation of the powerful storm.
Japanese police have arrested a woman and her parents in a bizarre beheading case in a popular night entertainment district in the city of Sapporo. This comes after a headless man was found in a hotel room 3 weeks ago.
Police said on Tuesday that they have arrested 29-year-old Runa Tamura, her 60-year-old mother and 59-year-old father. The main suspect and her father, who is a psychiatrist, were arrested on suspicion of conspiring in beheading the victim at a hotel room and relocating his severed head, while her mother was arrested on suspicion of conspiring with her family in transporting and keeping the head at home. The incident was believed to have happened between 1st and 2nd July. The head of the victim, Hitoshi Ura, 62, has been missing since then. Police are still investigating the motive behind the case and if Runa knew the victim, but were aware that she is a possible mental patient.
The rapid advancement of artificial intelligence is changing the game in various industries, and one area where AI is making a significant impact is in military training. Recently, during a U.S. Foreign Press Center international reporting tour in Hawaii, a group of journalists got a first-hand look at how AI combined with virtual and augmented reality are being integrated into creating immersive combat scenarios.
At the forefront of providing AI services for the US federal government is consulting firm Booz Allen Hamilton. Inside their innovation lab in downtown Honolulu, developers are busy creating virtual environments and testing combat training solutions.
There's something called X-Ray, which is our mixed reality analytics engine, XRAE. X-Ray is actually a capability that allows us to have geographically dispersed training opportunities for our clients by building the entire training curriculum and experience into a virtual reality headset. So imagine instead of putting 30 people on a plane, flying them back to, Colorado to go through training, instead we actually just buy 30 headsets, load them up with the exact training operations that our troops will have to utilize, and then allow them to train that and even track further better metrics of performance and effectiveness with these capabilities.
AI integration, meanwhile, allows algorithms to analyze soldiers' performance during exercises and identify areas that need additional training or support.
Now, each troop actually has a headset on, has one of these weapons with sensors, and they're going through this in a simulated building. And of course, they're trying to find all assets that they need to either rescue or, of course, deter in any significant way. However, this is just one example. What we're also able to do after they've done that training is actually then view historical performance to say, okay, at a certain time through the session, how many bullets were fired? How many rooms were cleared? What if we wanted to click on an individual and actually see the after-action report on how well that they were doing, muzzle sweeps, did they have any safety violations? Did one person ever unintentionally point their gun to another person that was on their own side? Again, things that aren't easily captured if I'm just an instructor in a classroom setting.
VR, AR and AI have great potential to make military training faster, safer and cheaper. But do they really improve combat effectiveness?
Lots of studies that look at using immersive or using augmented reality, virtual reality actually makes training 80% more effective because they get more repetitions in terms of how the warfighter is doing something. So the biggest is around artificial intelligence, right? If you know about it, there's many different disciplines, there's many different types of data sets that you can get after, and how you actually implement that in a way in which you can have a lot of fidelity, because a lot of the times you're using artificial intelligence to make a decision, and it's more important that you're using the right data and you're looking at it in the correct way so you can get to the right responsible decision.
That report wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching. Good night.